Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are troubleshooting this automatic lighter mechanism in an Ibelo Monopol petrol lighter. The Flint spring screw is tightened all the way down, and the fact that the snuffer will lift up, doesn't appear to be any pressure on the wheel. Also, the fact that it appears as though there is some flint dust residue on the wheel leads me to believe that the old flint is degraded and either turned to concrete or dust inside of the lighter. So we will remove our Flint spring screw. And here we should be able to judge whether or not that flint is degraded in the tube or not. So that is how far it is going in. That appears as though it might be making it all the way up to the file wheel. So maybe we don't have degraded flint in the tube. Hold my hand under here just to make sure. And there you see the flint dust start to drop out. So it would appear as though we do have degraded flint in the tube. Clean that up off my hand. Now, the good news in this particular mechanism, and one of the reasons why I have probably never taken one of these mechanisms apart. The flint tube is straight, so relatively easy to clear. And we will insert our 3/32 drill bit and just work that by hand. And it really appears as though whatever flint was in there wasn't much of it left. That is making contact with the file wheel. See now, we reinstall the tube. Then you do have pressure on the file wheel. So we should be able to drop a flint down the tube like that. Follow that with the flint spring and screw. And it's really taking a moment here to groove that flint, but looks like we're making solid contact now. Get that tightened all the way down. So now that we've got good spark, fuel this lighter up. Really nifty that there's a slot there in that base plate that you can just drop that fuel right down through. down into the slot and disperse through the wadding. I think that was our 4th dropper. Slider was, I'm sure, made in occupied Germany. I'm not sure if it's made as such or marked as such, but I'm sure that that was the case. Like I said, I'm sure that I bought this at a local antique market, vintage mall, one of those kind of places. Maybe the 23rd Street Antique Mall or Decades Revisited. I think it was one of those two. Has some corrosion, some green oxidation that I cleaned off of that side where the plating is missing. Now our mechanism's getting clunky all of a sudden. There we go. Finally get it to light, but so we got the spark, but for whatever reason this mechanism is going down but not coming back up. It did look like maybe it needed a little bit more fuel in it. It may have been part of the problem, but that's not the problem with the mechanism being all clunky. So I was talking about how with the straight Flint tube, that's probably why I've never taken one of these monopole lighters apart. And this one appeared as though it was sparking really good before we fueled it up, and apparently is still sparking fairly well, at least well enough to light it, but then it's acting like one of those lighters that you had to push the snuffer down on. So definitely a clunky operation to this monopole lighter at this point. So while you have seen us take a drill bit and clear that Flint tube like you typically would, it appears as though we are going to have to take this mechanism apart and hopefully get it operating a little more smoothly. So that should be the next video you see on this lighter. Taking apart the actuating mechanism on an Ibelo Monopol automatic lighter. Until next time.